G'day guys, welcome back to the show. We're your hosts. I'm Rob.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Ryan.
And we are at episode 25. And this episode is conspiracy theories, Mandela effects, UFOs, ghost stories, everything in between without the tinfoil hats. Alright, how is everyone?
Yeah, if you know, you know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
going
how
alright.
the boys going?
Going alright. In pretense to this entire episode, I have tripped and fallen down a few rabbit holes over the last couple of days.
It gets scary.
Like trying to research, but just getting so stuck in. Like, oh man, shit is intense.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And the further you
Good.
look, the worse it gets.
yeah,
It gets, yeah.
The more you burrow down.
I'm starting to see exactly why Joe Rogan is invested as he is in being a fucking conspiracy theorist.
Yep.
Because wow.
You only need to believe one conspiracy theory, and that's you're in. Like you're
I
hooked.
want to believe. I want to believe.
Yeah.
Show me the way!
I like to be an open-minded person, especially when it comes to certain things.
Yeah, well, I think that's the whole point around it. Is I'm not so shut off as to think that everything that we get fed is the truth, because it's not. Like it's just
No.
not.
Nah.
So
nah.
The more and more as you get older and the years roll on, you start to realise fucking the media, especially the media, are full of shit. Like,
Oh, 100%.
like holy fuck. Which is, I don't know if it's a good thing. It can't be a good thing, but in a sense, it's probably a good thing in the fact that it may open more people's eyes to a little bit more of a, what do you call it, when you open your knowledge of thinking, open-minded, to be a bit more open-minded with certain things that are going on or that could possibly be going on. So yeah, I think it's a really good topic to dive into tonight as well.
I think
I feel
we're
like
seeing
it is.
I'm seeing a lot of that in America at the moment with the distrust for their government is at an all-time high. I feel so.
Yeah.
They're not just copping the shit anymore. The people are starting to get smarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's right. Also, I thought what we should do tonight is I think we should start off with a what's happened. Like, has anything happened to you that has made you think, okay, that's different?
Yeah. Yep. I can start if you want.
Yep.
I'm okay with it. I've never had, so like, talking about when it's interpersonal or that, I mean, I've never been probed by an alien. Outside of that.
That I know of.
Outside of that, you make your own mind up. But as far as like ghosts go, I've never had an interaction personally. But I've had some interesting things happen according to other people. So, my mum has said multiple times that she has had visions, encounters with her deceased mum, our grandma. And there's one time when my ex was pregnant with my now daughter. We didn't know she was pregnant. We were trying to be pregnant, but we didn't tell no one anything. And my mum randomly came to me one day and said, had a vision last night, spoke to your grandma. This is not uncommon for mum to speak to dead grandma. She came to me and said, you need to get healthy, get happy, because you've got a baby granddaughter coming in September. So get yourself right. And we didn't even know that she was pregnant. She was pregnant with a girl born 5th of September of that year. So that is the one brush with that sort of thing that I've had, which was a bit freaky.
Well, can I just jump in for a second?
Yeah.
Because that has got my hands and my arms and legs standing up. Because when I was younger, when I was really little, had some really bad shit happen to me when I was a kid. And I used to wake up every night and there'd be someone sitting on the end of my bed. It was a lady. And every time she'd go to turn around, I'd close my eyes and put the blanket over my head and stay there until I'd go back to sleep. And I told Mum about it and everything like that. And she's like, "Oh, you'll be fine, seeing things." And then one day I was just like, I'm just gonna, if she's there tonight, I'll stay awake and I just need to see who this person is. And yeah, she turned around and it was my grandmother. She just looked over and smiled at me and put her hand over towards my leg, and then that was it. She never came back again.
Nuts. Tracy had a run-in with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
With Nana. It was fucking so weird. Yeah, nuts.
It really is, like, it's hard to explain. Like, because I remember as a kid, like, you feel like you're still asleep. Like, you can see, but you're not too sure. Especially being a kid, your mind's fucking all over the place. Your imagination's running wild.
Mm-hmm.
But then to take the time and, like, really concentrate and wake up and make sure you're in that moment when they turn around.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like the right time, and I felt like she was just letting me know that she was there watching over me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always love that. Even if it was just a fucking something in my imagination, I always like to think it was real.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, nuts.
It's a closure thing too.
Yeah.
You know, when if you lose a loved one or even a close friend or whatever like that, and you get generic responses from people that go, "Oh, mate, for example, when I lost my dad, like everyone would say, mate, he'll always be there looking over you." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, right. It's fucking pretty generic to say to someone who's." But then, if you open your mind, when I started opening my mind to the fact that maybe he could be there looking over me, like sort of there but not there, it made it a little bit easier to deal with as well, and it was a comfort thing. And I think a lot of the times in these situations, instead of getting freaked out, there's a good chunk of experiences or encounters that are positive rather than negative as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so true.
So
very true.
Can relate to that. I myself, from what I can remember, I don't think I've ever had an encounter. Telling Matt earlier that there could be a ghost in my house because every time I want to leave, my wallet's not in the same spot.
Just stay.
Yeah, but I've heard, I've had close mates that have said like different shit that's going on in their house, and it always comes back to a relative as well. Yeah. And as I said, I've never had that experience where I've had like that encounter. But you and if you go down the rabbit hole of which I'm assuming we've all gone down the rabbit hole this week in anticipation of the episode, and I look at what an encounter is, it means so many different things, like something in a different spot or something of significance that has moved. And I remember probably, I want to say, a couple of Christmases ago when I was in my mum's house. I was there Christmas Eve, and we're all having drinks, etc. And I remember going to the kitchen, and there was a photo album sitting on the dining room table, and I was like, I was flicking through it, and I thought it'd be fun to bring down and show everyone that was there. And we're looking at photos, and it was like photos of me and my sister from birth to 10 years old. There was photos of mum and dad at their wedding and shit like that. Anyway, I remember mum showing me a photo of dad because he's always had long hair. He'd always had a mullet, and she showed me a photo of their wedding day of him getting ready with his best man at the time, my uncle, fucking piece of shit. Anyway, and I was like, I took the photo out of the sleeve. So how the photo albums have those plastic sleeves.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I've taken the photo out of the sleeve, and I was like, oh, holy shit, that's surely that's not dad. And I was like, I was taking photos on my phone of it because I wanted to show everyone. And I remember putting it back into the sleeve itself. And the next morning, when I woke up, that fucking photo was on the bedside table in my room. And I don't know. You can put it down to the fact that maybe I never put it back into the sleeve, and I was like, just too hammered to fucking even remember. But I'm adamant I fucking did, and that was the first. Like, I never even mentioned it to anyone. I was like, what's the point? No one's gonna think of anything of that. And then it wasn't until like, even I didn't really think of anything of it until after the fact, maybe a couple months after, when I started, like, you know, I may have been watching a movie or something like that, and I'm like, oh, hang on, I wonder if that's a fucking, is that a thing? Like, did that happen? What do you call it? Whatever the fucking ghost terms are. Like, was that something that purposely happened? Like, did I actually put the photo away and it just suddenly was on the bedside table? I don't know. But it didn't freak. Well, at the time it did freak me out, but it didn't freak me out in the sense of, like, I was worried. I was like, who else but my fucking dad, who is clearly dead, gone, is gonna make that happen? And it, in a weird way, gave me closure, and I actually came out better from it, because I was like, I had it in my head that no matter what I'm doing in day-to-day life, no matter what I'm, you know, where I am, maybe he fucking is always there. I don't know. So that's where I come from, as like a comfort thing.
Yeah. And
Sure.
That's how a lot of people do take it. And that's how sometimes you should take it. Like, and unless, like, you hear some really horror stories of fucking people with demons and shit in their house, but
I mean, if your door starts slamming shut and there's some weird looking fuck above your wardrobe, get out.
your kids start climbing the ceilings.
Now, I always think with all that stuff, like, if a demon wants to try and possess me in here, fucking good luck.
I'm out.
Yeah, some of the
What have I done?
I'll have a look at what colour I've painted the walls in there. I'll be like, nah, no good. No good. I'm gonna get out of here.
You hear a new voice in your head going, fuck, I thought I was bad.
That's what I would expect.
I'm out of here.
Just
It's like really girly voice on the way out going, I'm calling the cops, going.
Yeah. Everything's silent. All you can hear is,
I'll go to church.
My God.
This cunt's fucked.
Hello?
The other voices are like, welcome in, come on.
Come have a drink, mate. I'm
Sit
leaving.
down, we got stories.
Wouldn't be the first fucking voice in my head, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
What do you mean? She's not fat? Shut up. This is why I'm missing half my fucking left tooth. You go out and you say shit.
Yeah, it's not me, it's the voices.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
I'm possessed.
yeah, sometimes they steal the light. It's like Old Mate and Split. Yeah, sometimes they just. Sometimes they've got the light and I don't. Sorry. And that cunt's got Tourette's. My bad.
Oh
man, that's
I
good.
got watery eye.
Alright, so we've all written down some stuff. We'll start off with some Mandela effects. We'll go one at a time because we've probably all got the same fucking list anyway.
Okay.
Probably.
I like that.
Alright.
I'll just cross them off as they come up.
I want to. This like I tried to look for ones that you don't really hear about, and that is so hard. Like, unless you want to go real deep, but I don't want to go too deep. It's like it's a bit of fun. Okay, I'll just go with this one. Yeah, here we go. I'll go with this one. The Monopoly Man. You know, he doesn't have a monocle. He doesn't have the one eye glass lens, which I always thought he did have.
Wait.
Every time.
That's the top of my list as well.
Yeah.
One because
How did I
that
not
one,
find that fucking thing?
that
on
one
Google?
blew my fucking mind. I was like, what?
What? So
I
he
know,
just
I
doesn't
was
have
like,
one.
No.
He doesn't have
Wait.
it at all. He doesn't have the monocle fucking
It's funny.
The glass eye lens.
I said so as soon as I read it, I said it to the missus.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, he doesn't have a monocle, and she's like, next you tell me he doesn't have a cane. I'm like, no, he doesn't have a cane. He's got a fucking money bag and a top hat. He's got no cane, no monocle.
Doesn't have a penis. Well, he actually doesn't.
Fuck, that's ruined my night for sure.
It's ruined me Monopoly night.
Yeah, fuck.
I could just about draw the picture of him with a monocle, though.
Exactly,
Like,
and that's how
it's
everyone
that
would
clear
draw it.
in my brain. I could look, there he is. Like, fucking hell.
For people
that was
that
hardcore.
are listening, if you never heard what a Mandela effect is, Mandela effect started from when Nelson Mandela was in prison, pretty much, because half the people thought he died in prison, but he
In the
didn't.
80s.
Yeah, he didn't. He came out. He got out of prison. Eventually, he died of old age down the track.
Yes.
So
2013.
that's
I think he died.
where the Mandela effect, the name came from. The Mandela effect's been around for many years, but that's where the name come from.
They call it that because that's the big one.
I've got a
People
funny
think it's
one,
something,
too.
and then the other half think it's something else.
Yes.
All right, go. Yeah, Rob.
Mine's not funny, but when I was googling, I found this one to be particularly hit home because I always believed it to be true. Pikachu from Pokemon doesn't actually have a black tip on the tail.
I saw that and I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!"
I had to go and I had to Google images of Pikachu. I'm like, fucking wow, okay.
I am quite a Pokemon fan. Like, I play Pokemon Go, and I've always been a Pokemon fan since day one. And this one still caught me by surprise.
Yeah, I was like, it. So when I read into it, it was like people may have been thrown by the fact that Pikachu had black tipped ears. And I'm like, no, that's not how I fucking remember him. It's her. That motherfucker had a black tail. I swear. Anyway, because I was going through the list and I was like, hang on, this one stood out to me. I was like, fuck, I watched Pokemon for years when I was a young kid, and I always remember Pikachu having that black tail with the lightning bolt down it. No,
Well, that's
Ruined
the same as the Monopoly guy.
Christmas.
Like, if you drew Pikachu, you'd draw him with a black tail.
yeah,
You
yep,
would colour
100%.
that tip of the tail in black.
Yeah, you'd be fucking wrong.
You'd be so fucking wrong.
Absolute garbage. Well, it's funny 'cause the one I got will walk the same line here, and this one threw me a little bit because I've watched this movie many times, and still didn't pick this up. C-3PO has a silver leg.
Oh yeah, okay. Alright, I knew this one. But I used to be a Star Wars nothing when I was a kid, so
Oh, okay. Hang on,
Just
I gotta
the
Google
bottom part
that.
from his right knee down
it's
is silver.
calf, yeah. I think it's his right calf or something.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, you're right. What the fuck, cunt?
Yeah.
I don't like this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. I saw that one and I'm like, I knew that one. But
Yeah, that one caught me by surprise.
alright, I've got one here. But I'm disappointed because I had the fucking toy. Xavier had the toy. And it fucked up. It was out in the weather for so long. And I swear to fucking God, this toy did not say this. But in Toy Story, Woody doesn't say there's a snake in my boot. He says there's a snake in my boots.
Yeah,
Plural.
Really?
It's
Now,
just stupid,
the toy that Xavier had, you pulled the string and it said there's a snake in my boot. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they're like, let's fix it when we make the toys. We can-
I reckon
But
they
in
might
the
have
movie-
because that's fucking. It doesn't make sense. How can you have one snake and two boots?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, unless
your
he's
feet
really
in it.
unlucky.
Whoops.
Ah, shit. We're in America
Screw on
again.
Christmas.
Anyway.
And why would Tom Hanks agree to even say that?
I know, right?
You'd go to Epstein's Island. apparently, so-
Don't ruin Tom Hanks for me.
No, trust me, I'm big fan of Tom Hanks, and I'll just put
He's a
that out of my
stand-up
mind.
gentleman and a great actor.
Yeah, so is... You know who else went to that island just quietly? The fella in the... who's the fella in the mobile wheelchair? Hawkins.
Oh, Stephen Hawking, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to
If
go
I-
to the island. I want to
Rolling
have
on
a
it.
good time.
If I was as paralysed as that cunt, I'd want to fucking see midgets doing it too.
Yeah. No, and we're getting very side. Conspiracy theory. Anyway, we'll put a pin in that.
Stick a pin in it.
I had one, another Star Wars one actually, and it's. I don't know if you
Darth Vader
knew.
one?
Yeah, the
you
Luke,
got
I'm
the
your
same one I
father. It's no, I am your father, and
Yeah, that
Yes.
one's fucked. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
threw me because that
Always
Luke,
known it.
I'm your father has been referenced in movies, on merchandise, everywhere.
Yep.
And
Now, I wrote this one down as well. I knew this one because I'd watched the show. I'd watched it recently.
Yeah.
I'd watched it again only
Yeah.
about 6 months ago, so I knew this one. But
It doesn't
exactly,
sound
that's
right.
exactly why I wrote it. It
No, it
doesn't sound
doesn't.
right. It's one of those things that fucking. One that I want to reference as well that I hadn't written down, but I just remembered now. That didn't come up is the "Beam Me Up, Scotty" one from Star Trek. He doesn't say that like ever.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he
what-
says like "Beam me up, Mr. Scott," or it's like a roundabout way of saying it.
Oh, that's fucked. That's gross.
actually,
Fucking me off, beat me off, Scotty. You know?
what are we going to find out next? Steve Austin didn't really drink beers.
Yeah, I reckon.
Fucking,
There was no
Is it-
glass shattering at the start of your
Is it,
song.
is it gonna piss?
you
Is it gonna
imagine
piss
that?
you off? Is it gonna piss you off if it's just because he drinks light? He drinks Bud Light. They're not heavies.
you know, it's fine. Look,
Probably
I'm
lucky.
here drinking middies.
Yeah,
But
probably
yeah.
lucky. Smash 85 cans at the end of
Yeah.
the fucking session of Raw. Not sure how much went down his fucking throat hole, by the way.
Yes.
You could be forgiven if you didn't drink any of them.
Have you ever
Just
tried
spat
to
them
do
all
that?
out.
Right,
Yeah.
everyone's tried it. I
Well,
didn't
everyone's
drown.
tried it.
I almost drowned
Yeah, that's right.
because I didn't let half it spill down the front. I'm just like, no, I'm not wasting none.
Yeah.
We know who
That's
did
why you
try it.
see everyone that goes on with him that does it, they're very conservative when they do it. Like,
Yeah.
psh.
Sorry, go Matt. Sorry.
I've got a good one, which I didn't realise this either. Tom Cruise in Risky Business.
Mhm.
No sunglasses. Didn't have them when he did the little dance in his underpants and button-up shirt. No sunglasses.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say
I'm
didn't see
going
the
to
movie,
Google this.
unfortunately.
Oh,
I am going to Google it.
no sunglasses. I didn't do any backup research to this either, by the way. I took someone's word for it.
Yeah, I'm on Wikipedia right now. And he can't
I
change it.
didn't go to Wikipedia. I went to this website that said Mandela effects for suggers.
Oh, wow. You're actually right.
Yeah, nuts, eh?
That's coming through. But anyway.
Once again, I told my went to the missus and she almost hit me, I think.
I even did the risky business fucking thing in the other house, and I had the sunglasses on.
Yeah.
'Cause that's
She's
how I
like,
remember it.
everyone dresses up as him with sunglasses
Yeah.
on. Why would they do that? I'm like, I don't know. That's why it's a fucking Mandela.
Does he ever put the sunglasses on? No, he does not put the sunglasses on.
I just want to know
He
how
has-
this
he
came
has
into effect.
Frantic sex with the lounge, but he doesn't put the sunglasses on. Well, there you go. That's a good one, actually. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
The
I like that one.
the Looney
Yeah, that
Tunes.
one's not bad.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
the
that
Looney
one's a good
Tunes.
one too, yeah.
It's not TOONS. It's TUNES.
How it should
Yeah.
how it should be spelt.
Like,
wonder-
Tunes.
like
That's funny because
I
I
don't
reckon you
understand.
get confused because of the American part of it.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid calling it Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Like my parents called
Yeah.
it Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes,
Which,
yeah.
like, so when I saw
Tunes.
that one,
yeah,
I thought that
you
makes
pronounce
sense
it with a
to me.
CH.
Yeah.
But it's
You know
because
what I
of the it's because of the Americans because they say tune as tune and
Yeah,
tune.
yeah.
They're both the same. They're both the same
It's
fucking word.
weird
That's
to
why.
see it spelt TUNES. It's like, what are they like? I thought. Upon googling again, when I found this today, I was just under the impersonation or the fuck's the word? The fact that it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
And they're
That's the word
loony.
to think of.
Yeah.
Under the impression.
Impression, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing an impersonation of someone who doesn't understand what the world is anymore. Damn Mandela effect.
God damn you, Mandela effect.
God damn him.
I saw one. Yeah, I got a couple. I'll do Morpheus from Matrix. Did you see that one?
Mm-hmm.
Where there's memes that says, "What if I told you?"
Yeah.
And he not once says, "What if I told you?" through the movie. And I'm thinking to myself, are you fucking serious? I swear to God, he's like, "What if I told you that if you take the red pill, you can whack off for longer or something?" I don't know. So who said something?
You're thinking of the blue pill, man.
I downloaded the wrong.
You're thinking of the little blue pill.
One. The pilot pill.
What if I told you the little blue pill? Yeah, I racked my brain after seeing that one, thinking, "Fuck."
Sorry, sir.
Oh.
What is he? And I've seen that movie many times.
I'll just. Oh, wait, let me just quickly do this one. This one threw me a bit. Fucking Shaggy from Scooby Doo.
No,
Doesn't have
go here.
He doesn't have a producer. Fucking hell.
Protruding
Adam's
penis.
apple.
Protruding Adam's apple. He doesn't have a protruding Adam's apple. And I'm like, are you kidding me? He's always had that big fucking Adam's apple.
I've got like 4 tabs open here now. It's not even fucking funny. My search history is Scooby-Doo, Adam's apple, Nelson Mandela, glad he's dead. Why am I like this? Yeah, that's my 3 tabs.
Why am I like this? I like
Fuck's
it.
sake. I
Like,
remember
spelled
the
with a 7.
distinctive Adam's apple.
That's
Which
how
is
you
more
always
than I can
remember
say for when I went to Singapore. But I remember.
Hey, Scoob.
Oh shit! Holy shit!
I'll just finish on one more. This is my last one. The Britney Spears song. Oops, I did it again. She never had a microphone headset in that film clip, but I clearly remember her dancing around with the fucking microphone headset on. I don't understand.
That one's a real funny one because I read a bit more into that one, and the toy was. They even released
brought
the
the toy
toy
out
with a fucking
with-
headset.
Yep.
Ugh.
Even they were
That
fucking
one
stunned.
fucked everyone.
Yeah.
I do have one more as well.
Yeah, I got one more as well.
Walt Disney was never cryogenically frozen.
Yeah, I know.
I remember hearing about that as a kid all the time. He was actually fucking cremated.
Yeah.
Died
Yeah.
in 1966, and
There's so many stories about that as well. Like,
he was cryogenically frozen to be brought back at some point.
yeah. Because then there are people like, oh, it's just his head. That's not great.
I know, right? Yeah. We've got fucking Futurama heads in a jar.
Hello. What do you got there, Croc?
I've got so from the movie Grease.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The song
this
is
one
called
was
Greased Lightning, not Grease Lightning.
So shit.
Which I fucking
It's a Greased
used to love
Lightning.
that song. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never ever pronounced it with an ED on the end.
No.
I was singing that at every
cooked.
karaoke I go to. And it's Greased.
Everyone in the crowd's going, "This cunt's never seen this fucking movie."
What was he saying?
Speaking
Greased.
of songs, I'm going to make up my own Mandela effect here. So there's a song "Bad Moon Rising."
Mhm.
If you listen to the live version from John Fogerty, it sounds like he's saying there's a bathroom on the rise, not a bad moon on the rise. So go and listen to it and
Bathroom
ruin the
on the
song for
rise.
yourself.
We've actually got a couple of songs now we could say there's Mandela
Yep.
effects.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
won't ruin it for people. Just yet.
I got dirt on my roof.
Got a little dirt on my boobs. All right. Roll.
Alright, what do we got?
We're rolling.
Let's move into some
Roll and thunder.
conspiracy theories.
It's all true.
We're
All of
I'll go into a bit of an easy one just to get us dip our toes in the water. This one I just thought I'd just throw this out there. I think people know about this one, but Avril Lavigne, There's
Oh,
a
yes.
conspiracy theory that in 2003, apparently she died after her hit song "Complicated," which is in 2002, and then after she died, she was replaced with a woman named Melissa Vandella, and apparently, still to this day, she still portrays herself as Avril Lavigne. That one there kind of, I think, like, are you really going to go that far? Like, you really going to go that far for someone? No offense to Avril Lavigne if you listen to the show, love, but you weren't that great.
On the peripheral of fame.
Yeah, that's right. It's not like
Skater
another
Boy
Elvis.
was big, but yeah, that's right. So if you were going to do that to anyone, wouldn't you have just covered up John Lennon's thing and brought him back?
Yeah, that's right. Nah, we'll save that for Avril.
Oh shit!
Oh man! So what is the reason? What makes people think this?
It's that's the thing. Like, there's no common, there's no reason behind it. No one's left a proper fucking reason behind why they would do that. Like, she's not like Illuminati or fucking something like that, or fucking alien or whatever. It's just a random conspiracy theory that people have thrown out there because she looks a little bit different. But if you're going to be like that, you can say that about a lot of people, a lot of celebrities. Like,
Oh yeah, like
you have a look at Selena Gomez.
Bruce, look at Bruce Jenner. He's been replaced by a woman.
yeah, you could argue that cunt looks better, but anyway, he was always destined to. Yeah, anyway,
Yeah, he's for another
next week's episode.
Next week's episode, clonings.
Clonings, yeah.
Gone wrong.
Clonings with a capital C. Obviously, Bruce Jenner messed the capital C because he ain't got no cock anymore. Maybe he does. I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows? That's
Can we get him on the show?
We'll get him on and we'll ask if he's had it cut off yet.
Can you imagine that first question?
Yeah, he cut off,
G'day.
mate.
Thanks for coming on, Caitlin. Show us that
Split
cock, eh?
Let's see your designer vagina.
Flipped inside out.
Yeah, I want to know how they do it though.
Well,
It'd be
like
like
small-
slitting a hot dog down the middle and just like turning it inside out.
To quote Family Guy, first you make a small incision in the scrotal skin. Hold on. That's a vasectomy.
That's
My bad.
oh, what's the AIDS one? There's an AIDS one as well, isn't there?
You have
got AIDS. They probably didn't even say that. If we're looking at the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Is Family Guy a lie? Fuck, I'm glad there's no Family Guy one.
I mean, I wonder if there would. There probably
Hold
is.
a bit.
Oh, fuck.
What you remember from Family Guy is pretty much what you get. Exactly
I reckon,
what you get.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
walk away from that going,
Fucking-
I'll remember that for the rest of my life.
I have been touched.
He touched
That's by the
me.
finger of
God.
Oh, buttered sausage.
Sausage.
get it out of my face. All right, well I'll go into my
Sorry,
little
some honey.
conspiracy theory because it's one of those ones where probably only appeals to the Australians, and you're either on the fence about it or you just flat out don't believe it. But this comes about with the Port Arthur massacre back in 1996, I believe, or 93. Am I wrong? 96, I think it was, because that was when John Howard introduced
The gun laws and stuff.
new gun laws into Australia, which required you to have a PTA, which is a permit to acquire, and a genuine reason / license, which is nowadays is even more vigorous to get. But the conspiracy theory behind it, and I actually went in and researched this for many, many months. I was actually I wasn't part of it, but I was in a group called Firearm Owners United, and they made a pretty big name for themselves on Facebook, you know, trying to fight for Australians who were, you know, law-abiding citizens to be able to have their right to own whatever firearm they wanted, you know, without prejudice type thing. You know, we weren't trying to go down the line of America where you just fucking own anything, etc., etc. But like, if you pass a fitness test and a criminal background check, I don't think there should be any laws in saying what you should and shouldn't own, you know, etc., etc. You know, that's something for another day. So I researched what kicked off the gun laws here in Australia, and it was the Port Arthur massacre. And there's a lot of different theories behind what happened, but one of the biggest ones was that Martin Bryant, who was the shooter, actually wasn't the shooter. Now, the evidence to suggest that he wasn't the shooter from that side of the argument was the fact that, so he shot 28 people dead, and in the police report, it read as so, Martin Bryant was seen shooting from the hip with his right hand, shooting people in the head with a semi-automatic rifle, which was an AR-15. Now, when they arrested Martin Bryant and they took him into the questioning room, the police asked Martin Bryant, and there's video on this, you can go and watch this on YouTube. They asked Martin Bryant to reenact what he did when he entered Port Arthur. And basically what that means was pretend that he had a firearm in his hand and how he did what he did. When he pretended to have a firearm in his hand, he held it as if he was a left-hand shooter. And it's got in the report that he was a right-hand shooter, but he was holding it in the opposite way. Now, the other evidence is people want to know why it took over 50 minutes for first responders to get to the scene. Port Arthur, given the size of Tasmania, is very small. And this whole conspiracy theory starts at it was a government job, right? So it's not just the fact that Martin Bryant didn't do it. It was an inside job from the government. The biggest knife in the fucking pot here was the AR-15 that Martin Bryant supposedly used was in the hands of Victorian police 48 hours prior. So yeah, that was one of the biggest things that I read, and I've known that for years. And like, whether you read on the internet whether it's true or not, but this came out of a VPOL report, which is the Victorian Police Department. The AR-15 was in the hands of Victorian police 48 hours before the shooting.
Oh, that's a dilly of a pickle,
and
that one.
To say that Martin Bryant was shooting right-handed, hip shooting as well, not even aiming down sights. This was a statement from the witness that he was shooting from the hip, people in the head. And if you've ever watched an interview with Martin Bryant or read about Martin Bryant, that cunt is as fucking simple as a sack of potatoes.
Few six packs short of the old 30 pack.
And so between the alleged firearm being in the hands of police 2 days before the event, well,
was it confiscated from him, or wasn't even his?
No, it wasn't even his. So that was the thing. They interviewed Martin Bryant's parents, and to their knowledge, he had never had any interest in firearms or anything like that. He was a very quiet boy, very polite spoken young man, and so we got the firearm. The fact that it took over 50 minutes for first responders to even get to the scene, which is predominantly police.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to say either way, like what I want to believe. I'm just here to jot out a few things, but 4 months after that event did the Prime Minister implement those gun law measures. And upon doing research on what it took to get a gun license, well, you didn't even have to have a gun license before that, just a criminal background check. The only thing that was gained from the introduction of those laws was the tax that you paid on acquiring the permits and the licensing to own said firearms. And you know where the tax goes to.
Oh, yep.
So, yeah, I don't know. And because a lot of shootings, there's been gang shootings. So the Milpera massacre was a shooting between the Banditos and the Comancheros, I believe. A bikie rival gang. Two criminal organisations that, unfortunately, I think two innocent people lost their lives, maybe three, not sure. But that fucking shooting had an inquest, a colonial inquest. Port Arthur has never, ever had a colonial inquest. Ever. There's never been an inquest and there's never been a follow-up to it, ever. It's just like, it happened, let's put the laws in, let's shut it down, we'll never talk about it again. So, yeah.
Fucking hell.
There's that.
They couldn't have got a crazier looking cunt to pin it on if they did.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. They picked, like, if they did, like, as I said, I'm just here to say what I've researched. I'm not going to go either way on it, but if they have found a character, they've found a pretty good one.
Yeah.
To make it believable. You know, so, but yeah.
Mate, I wouldn't put nothing past any government, to be completely honest.
As I said, 15 years ago, if someone had said that, you'd be like, oh, I'd be just, that didn't fall that off. But as I said earlier, like, the more the years go on, the more you realise people like the media and the government bodies, like, it's just a money-hungry business. It's not hard to question whether shit really happened.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's, yeah.
Absolutely.
It was a very interesting one. I've never really looked into that. Now it's got me.
There was a movie there's a movie that was supposed to come out called Wasp. And the director of that, well, sort of not the director, the founder, I guess, the script writer about that movie, actually requested to have an interview with Martin Bryant. Obviously, he's locked up in solitary, never to be released. And the government denied his request. And after that request got denied, because he was obviously trying to make a movie based on what happened. After the request got denied, funny enough, the bloke who was about to make the movie had to file for bankruptcy, and the movie never got heard of ever again. It got taken out of production and was never produced.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the old government.
Good old government.
Yeah.
Are we able to take an intermission?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, lovely.
Great idea.
I'm going to wet my pants.
Not the same, but have you anyone watched that Netflix show Making a Murderer?
Yeah.
Stephen Avery.
Yep.
You really looked into that or heard much about it?
Not like heavily outside of the show.
Yeah.
But I feel like I could get the grasp of where it might be going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, because apparently he was trying to sue the police department and all that sort of stuff, trying to get millions out of him. And then all of a sudden this all happens. And his retarded fucking nephew gets dragged into the police department and gets fed what to say. They're telling him exactly what they knew happened, and he's just going along with it. And I don't mean to be rude to the kid or anything like that, but clearly he isn't smart enough to understand what was happening, because he said he needed to go back to school. Like, he thought he was walking out of that room. It's like, mate, you just admitted to murdering someone, plus putting your uncle in it as well. You ain't leaving. You're going straight to jail, son.
Yeah, that's fucked, eh? That actually makes you sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And just watching it, the interview, like, seeing him telling him, feeding him what to say, because he was saying completely different things. They're like, no, you didn't do that, you did this. If someone comes going to confess to murder, they're going to fucking confess. They're not going to be going fucking around, beating around the bush going, oh, we did this, we did that.
You see,
Yeah.
I've seen that fucking in, like, watching crime documentary tapes, and they'll, like, show real footage of, like, the detectives with someone down in the, I don't know. I've seen it a couple of times. Like, they put fucking words in the, you know,
Yeah.
the mouth of. In like some cases, they may be right, but fucking.
Yeah, that's right.
I've also seen a lot of times where it's not to be true at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fucking,
Well, some
it
of these
makes
people,
you
some
sick.
people have spent multiple years behind cells, and they've done nothing wrong.
That's like
See,
the
that's-
worst nightmare, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
20.
But-
Imagine doing 20 years, you're having your whole family turn their back on you,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone never look at you the same again, just to
Yeah.
be for nothing.
There's
Because
no
these
real
cunts-
amount of
Because
like,
these cunts
there's no
can't get off their ass
reputation.
and actually do their fucking jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying to pin it on someone they think.
Yeah.
They think.
Fucking lazy cunts.
But all it takes is just someone, an eyewitness, to come up with a fucking sketch that could look
Yeah.
just like you. There's
Yeah.
nothing like you.
Yeah.
And, they try and pin it on them. So, yeah.
Feels
Anyway,
bullshit.
we'll move on.
That's fucked, actually. Now I think about it.
I'll go on to, found this, I knew about this one, I've read about this one a couple of times before. It's called they name it the Skinwalker Ranch in Utah.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah, I like this
I'll just
one.
read off here what I've got. There's over 50 years of things happening just on this place, this property. It's like a hot spot, apparently. And there's been over 100 incidents happen, recorded. They've even had scientists and everything go onto this property and try and work out why it's such a hot spot. But apparently they've had sightings of UFOs or orbs, large animals with piercing red eyes. I think that's the skinwalkers, because apparently they were standing out in the field one day and they could see this dog-looking creature coming up towards them, and they're looking at it and they're just thinking, what's going on here? And they didn't know if it was wild or anything like that. And then they could start to see it's got red piercing eyes, and it started getting closer and closer. And by the time it got near them, both these men were over 6 foot tall, and this thing stood at their chest height, on all fours. And apparently they've had encounters with them before, and they've shot them, and it hasn't phased them one bit. Like, it just doesn't bother them one bit that they've been shot, and it doesn't even look like they're even hurt. And apparently there's an invisible emitting magnetic field around the area as well. And they constant UFO sightings. I don't know if they had any alien encounters, but they've had, like I said, skinwalkers. Like, they've seen UFOs. Apparently there's been portals that they've seen open on their property. And when I was reading it and going through it, I was thinking, why have I heard this before, and why have I seen this before? And then it hit me, and I realised I was thinking of a completely different fucking place. This place is called Stardust Ranch in Arizona.
oh yeah, I've heard of that.
This place apparently is a huge hotspot.
Because the Skinwalker
This cunt-
stems from Native Americans, the
Yeah.
Navajos.
Yeah,
Navajos, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. But this guy that owns, I actually followed him on Instagram once I found out about him, and he always puts stuff up. His name is John Edmonds, and he claims to have been fighting aliens for years on his property. He's put up a photo. This is why I followed him, because I remember seeing this photo of this samurai sword on the ground, and it was just blood everywhere. It was smeared blood all over the place. But there was nothing there, and he reckons that by the time he could go and get his phone or his camera or whatever, the alien that he dismembered had gone. They'd taken him, and he said the only way you can kill these is by chopping off their heads, or and chopping off their antennas, pretty much, because their antennas apparently call home.
Well,
but it's he thinks the reason why these aliens are always coming to his property and UFOs are always there. He's actually got a photo on his Instagram. It's portal, a portal open, and you can see a UFO like just in the picture, off in the distance over a hill. And it looks the UFO looks, you could say, legit. It's just lights, that's all you can see. But yeah, and he that's what he said. He said that he feels like his ranch is a host portal, so that's where windows open up of space and they come in, and like that sort of shit makes me laugh, because like it could be true, because there are, like, if you, like we were talking about ancient aliens and stuff like that before we even did this, and there's so much shit that makes sense when it comes to, if there was aliens coming here, you kind of would need somewhere to know where you're going, like a navigation system. Couldn't just be like, oh, it's that way, I reckon.
yeah.
Light years away.
Well, it's funny, that leads into what I've got a little bit, because I did a bit of stuff on Area 51.
Yeah.
Bob Lazar, pretty much one of the first bloke to come out and say that he worked at Area 51, and he, matter of fact, worked directly on spacecrafts.
Yeah.
And he was part of the propulsion team to try and reverse engineer these things for technological gain for the American government. And he worked at a place called S4, 15 miles outside of Area 51.
Yep.
In the late 80s, 1989, I think he was the last he worked there.
Yeah.
And he was talking about these things, that these crafts would have a gravitational reactor inside. This is how they moved. This is how they travelled. It was a half spherical orb powered by an unknown source at the time that emitted extraordinary amounts of power at 100% efficiency, no heat. They don't lose anything out of heat. So they could run at 100% efficiency with no lag. And that, what it does is it creates gravitational waves, which, this is one of the things at the time, he was talking about grav waves in 1980s. They didn't realise that their theories at the time were gravity was powered by what they would call gravity particles, like gravitons.
Yeah.
That's how it was emitted, but it's not. It is actually emitted in waves, like he thought then. But I mean, as you know, if you fuck with gravity, you fuck with time.
Yeah.
You fuck with space. Gravity, time, space are all connected. So, like you're saying about these portals, it may or may not be bullshit. That's not for us to verdict.
Yeah.
At this time, we're just here to discuss what these people have said. But
Yeah.
that is something that could happen. Essentially, if you fuck with gravity, you can rip a portal within time and space. So that essentially, if one's true, the other could be true.
Yeah.
For that reason. This is essentially why these spacecrafts that you've seen all these videos on can move freely through our atmosphere as if nothing is holding them back. There's no wind resistance, there's no air resistance, there's no residual exhaust from burning fuel, because it doesn't work like that. And the funny thing with this guy is that he said about this element that they found, this heavy element that isn't native to our planet, that powers these spacecrafts. They called it element 115 back then. It's now been synthesized and discovered 15, 20 years later and named. It's now called Moscovium, because the Russians that figured out how to synthesize it. They can only keep it stable for a few seconds, but yeah, that's right. They can only keep it stable for a few seconds, but he was talking about it 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And there's just so many things that this guy has said that everyone jumped on as bogus, and obviously he's been largely discredited by the government and everything, but they're just slowly coming.
And it makes me laugh with him because how people say it's all bullshit and all that sort of stuff. Why would a man that is that smart go that far, just discredit himself, just tell the truth, or to make up a bullshit story about these aliens and all that sort of stuff? Back then, when not many people were carrying on about aliens like they are now.
Yeah.
You're not going to come out and just say shit like that and be like, oh,
no.
Well, I know I'm fucked now. There goes me career. There goes
if you were
my
going
livelihood.
to make it up, you'd do it nowadays.
That's right.
Like
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's more traction for the speculation.
Yep.
But if you look at a lot of the claims of, take the stereotypical fucking, you got a hillbilly farmer in a deep South America that claims an alien stole his fucking cow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of those claims come back from pre-1980.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not the claimee isn't probably the brightest fucking tool amongst a million, but people don't just say shit. You know what I mean? Like, they don't just say shit, especially at that time of where the world was, pre-1980. People just didn't say shit for the sake of fucking saying shit.
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays, it makes more sense. Like, people say shit. It's like, oh yeah, they're just saying that to get attention. It makes more sense to say it now than it would, back then.
Yeah.
Like, and where a lot of these claims to start, and I'm fully on board. Obviously, I've got no proof, but I think it would be pretty. Oh, I was going to say irresponsible, but stupid not to believe that there's not another life form out there, because Earth is a speck in a never-ending fucking galaxy. As if there's not another speck somewhere out there with a life form. And
exactly right.
obviously I've got no proof, but I reckon I could confidently say, and I'll probably never even know, but I could confidently say that there is something else out there. I've got no evidence, but it's just a hunch, and I don't know, common sense, I guess. I never thought I'd use common sense and saying there's aliens out there in the same sentence, but and they're not. Maybe they're not even aliens. Maybe they're just regular cunts like us. Imagine another fucking planet. Someone else is sitting on a planet having a beer somewhere.
That's a funny one there.
My theory.
Really, there's a funny one right there. Is that even if you don't believe that there are aliens out there or whatever, a lot of this stuff, because if you're fucking with gravity and time and space and blah blah blah, there's theories that there's a reason why aliens keep coming to this planet is because they were here.
Yeah.
It's us, 50,000 years, whatever, future us coming back. Here.
Yeah, let me put it in the way I think about this whole thing with aliens. It's a far out suggestion, but think of the way we are now and the world we live in right at this moment. You got race, big problem. Racism is a big problem. Gender. Everyone doesn't know what they want to be anymore. You look at every sighting that people have had of aliens. They're grey. They have no genitalia. And they're just big black eyes. That's it. And they all look the same.
Yeah.
Now, could you imagine that if we all ended up evolving into what people have been seeing over the years, and then that's us in the future coming back, just to check on everyone. How you going, guys?
Or is it a sign
Don't do it.
to say, hey,
don't do
get your fucking act together. If you got a penis, you're a male, and if you got a pussy, you're female. Fucking live with it.
You just got to put your fingers together.
I would go half a step beyond that and say, what if the aliens, right, instead of being like our genderless forms that we're striving for now, that is we
evolution?
are evolution, but we are We are birthing
Well,
evolution
Sorry,
as we
I thought you
speak.
were
We're birthing. Say you found an alien in your backyard and you cut him open and there's nothing inside. Say they're synthetic.
yeah.
Say they're made. They're not born. They're made.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we doing right now in the world? We're breeding AI. We're breeding robot. We're breeding machines. We're essentially the sex tools for the machine world.
Yeah.
We're breeding our own evolutionary step.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've look, what if that is the next evolutionary step? If you were a machine and you were going to make something efficiently humanoid, you'd make them all look the same. You'd make them all genderless because you don't need genitalia because that's now out of the picture. You can produce, not breed.
Yeah.
So what's
Well, that was always the idea behind extraterrestrials, wasn't it? Because the fact that people would have you know that fucking they were made, not bred.
Yep.
Which is why, like, the way, look, honestly, the way this country is going, I'm surprised we don't even fucking need our organs anymore.
Mm.
Well, hell, if a lot of females reckon they don't, all males, they just fucking start lopping them off willy-nilly. Fucking, do they know something we don't? But you know what I mean? Like, that stigma behind aliens and AI, it's pretty much intertwined as a experiment or a lab made thing, or I guess you could say man-made thing. But what if? And then it's going back to evolution. Like, what if it's just us evolving into that final product? Who knows? Maybe there's a product beyond that as well. Like, you know,
that's true.
Well,
you don't know how high the ladder goes. You don't know what the starting point of the ladder is.
It could end up being, because they've already said when we eventually get to Mars and all that sort of stuff, we'll evolve again. Like, people will be taller, people will be more slimmer, and all that sort of stuff. It's like,
you ever look back
feel
and
like
no, sorry, you go. Oh, well, I was going to say, like, you know, sometimes I used to look back and think I was born 20 years too late. Like, I feel I was born 20 years too late. Like, I could relate to life, you know, 20 years prior to when I was born compared to now. And then, like, you're talking about fucking, imagine looking like 300, 400 years. Or, let's go to 1,000 years down the track.
yeah.
Like, are people gonna... they may not even be people. Like, but if we get a chance to see that, for some reason, you know, whether we fucking go up there or down there, I'm probably going downstairs, but when we die, fucking, if we get a chance to see how it all unfolds, like, it'd be interesting. I don't know. Getting fucking deep. I nearly fell into a hole. But, you know what I mean? Like,
but none of it's outside of the realm of possibility when you think about it, really. Like,
no, it's not.
In front of our very eyes. So it only takes time, but there is almost something that will push evolution over the edge, and we're seeing it. Right now, primates are evolving in front of our very eyes. I mean, they've witnessed humans doing things like using tools. And they are now doing it themselves. They're wild animals that are now using tools for their everyday lives. That is an evolutionary leap. Like,
yeah, and depending on what side of the coin you fall on, like, the primates, so to speak, are just less evolved versions of us. We are the evolved version of them. Depending on what you believe. Essentially.
Essentially, yeah, slightly different genetic coding.
Yeah. Because when the aliens come in, they injected them with their DNA.
That's the another really interesting thing about fucking. So, you think about ancient Egypt or any of the ancient places, and this idea of gods. I mean, what's the stop? And gods, in every fucking one of them, or most of them, the gods lived amongst us and then ascended.
Yeah,
like ascended.
I'd be more inclined to believe about aliens.
Most people think it's ascended metaphorically to a higher place spiritually or whatever, but what if it's not metaphoric? What if it's fucking actual? What if they ascended? They fucked off. They higher life form was here. They worshipped them as gods because they were hyper intelligent, and then they ascended literally to the fucking heavens.
Yeah,
But that's
And
what.
that's why all their fucking drawings and everything, their cave drawings and all this shit, these people don't look like people. They look different.
yeah, that's so true.
Like, who's to say? I'm not
Yeah,
to say.
back then they would have thought, like the pictures and descriptions and that they see him going into up in the sky, and they're like, oh, they must have went back to the heavens when they've really just gone back to their fucking home planet.
And everything else that they
Place of shit.
everything else that they write about, all their other depictions are all about themselves and everything, are very literal.
Yeah,
But the gods aren't. The gods are all these fairy tales, make believe, high heaven bullshit.
Yeah, it's
but
to
everything
give-
else about their
to give
history is
some-
literal.
yeah, it's to give people a faith and something
Yeah.
to believe in and something to strive for. I'm thinking,
But if you,
There is
if you
something
dug
else.
a little, if you dug a little deeper in the, you're working with time and space and gravity again.
yeah,
And if they like, time doesn't mean anything to beings that have time in the palm of their hand. They could come
Well-
in and out. If what's 5 minutes to them is 3,000 years to us.
yeah,
But they could inject themselves in and out of that time frame because time
well,
is
they're
all
just
relevant.
they're an invincible entity, really. Like,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what they said. That's why there's so many cover-ups about all this shit. That's theoretically. Why would you want to cover up all this stuff? Why wouldn't you want to release it? Because the country that harnesses this technology is now the invincible country. Now they have the whole world at their mercy. You crack gravity, you win. No one. Like, you've got time, space, and everything in your hand.
I already
Infinity.
know, without knowing, that there are high-ranked fucking individuals in countries trying to crack that, as if you wouldn't be trying to
absolutely.
crack
You fucking crack that, you become Thanos.
that. Literally.
Like,
So what we're saying is, fucking China's leading the race,
yeah, yeah.
without being controversial. But yeah, I'm more inclined. Getting back to the part about worshipping gods and stuff, and what I said at the start of the episode was, this conversation gives everyone a chance to be more open-minded with possible things that are out there.
Yeah.
Things like gods and shit. There's 100 different fucking gods in the world. If you
that's
read
right.
into it. But obviously, there's that one god that everyone knows, right?
Yeah.
I'm more inclined to believe there's extraterrestrial fucking life form out there in the universe than there is a god. Put it that way.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Even Jesus.
You can't tell me
Like,
space is that big where we're the only people here.
no fucking. As you've just said it out loud, and I hope whoever watches this episode fucking listens to that one line right there. There is no way, in a never-ending, what we believe, universe, we are the only speck of life.
Right.
It's not real. It's just close. It was being brought up is, we were brought up closed-minded. You know, whether we like it or not, closed-minded to a certain extent. Like, there was no such thing as outside life forms, ghosts, fucking, etc., etc.
Well,
Who knows? Maybe
government-
Santa's out there right now.
The government
fucking
are on
having a
the
beer.
the government are literally on the cusp of having to say, okay, look, we do have evidence of fucking UFOs. We do have evidence of all this.
Oh,
shit.
they would.
but
They would.
they've essentially said that they've
They have come out.
that there are UFOs. I mean, UFO in the meaning of the term just means identified flying object. It means
Yeah,
something
that's what- and that's
something
what they
flying
said.
that they can't explain.
said
It doesn't
that
have to
they-
be alien. It
Yeah,
just
that's
could
right.
be something they can't explain.
Oh yeah.
They said that they can't, but they can't not admit that there has been
Tic-tac
unidentified.
gate, like fucking all these fucking Tic Tac sightings of these fucking spherical flying objects. Like, there was a fucking thing. One of the naval ships. There was a group of like 8 of them within 100 kilometers, 100 miles of each other. That had 100 sightings in the same period
Well, this
Yeah.
of these
this is
fucking
where-
things. There was 14,
Whoa.
15, 16 of them coming up on radar and then disappearing.
yeah,
Some
that
up
was-
and some down into the fucking back down into the ocean.
The one that they followed.
Once again, if you're
that was
with
insane.
portal, if you're propelling through gravity and everything, it's not going to matter whether you're in the air, you're on the
That's what
ground,
they're
you're
saying.
in,
Like, they
in the
couldn't
ocean.
even keep up with them.
So, talking about there was a portal. There's got to be a window somewhere, right? Like with anything, even if we're talking demonic fucking entities, there's always a window somewhere. There was, and I can't believe I never even spoke about this. There was a theory. I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory. It's just a topic that went around a couple of years ago that the pre 1800s that the Bermuda Triangle used to be a portal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I forgot. I was going to research the Bermuda Triangle and I didn't.
So, the Bermuda Triangle is, I don't know, piracy days, I guess you could say. But that used to be a portal for... Well, no, this is modern day opinions. Obviously, probably wouldn't have been an opinion back then. But fucking nowadays, they were saying that the Bermuda Triangle was a portal for outside life form.
Yeah.
And it was like right there in a Pacific space and time within the sea. And I don't know where it was. But Pirates of the Caribbean referenced the Bermuda Triangle at one point. Not that it represented outside life form, but that was another example of how far, like we're talking the 1700s, and there was outside life form that was considered way beyond humanoids life form, like advanced life form. Like when you think aliens, you think advanced everything, advanced motor skills, the unbelievable body strength. So back then, when humans were still fucking, Neanderthals, so to speak, there was still, or according to reports, there was still these advanced fucking aliens, I guess, in layman's terms, aliens, even back then.
Yeah.
It's like, so fuck, you think about it, it's like, how long is, it's, I don't know, it's quite a topic, actually. Like, the more I sit here and think about it, I'm starting to get confused myself.
We could legit do a whole episode with some aliens. Because,
Yeah.
the deeper you go, the further it gets. But we do need to wrap this episode up, at least soon. But
Yes,
I want to finish on this audio I heard today. And I hope I get his name right. But have you heard of Lou Elizondo?
No.
Have you seen the Tic Tac video? He's the reason.
Okay.
He's the reason why we've seen it, because he was the one that pushed for it to get publicised, and he wanted it out. And this is the guy's. This is what he does now. He wants the public to know about what's going on. Now, this guy again, like the other fella, he got a lot of credentials to lose. Like he's got a lot to lose. He used to be in the U.S. Army, Department of Defense. He was in the Office of Security and Defense for Intelligence, and now this dude is out just trying to push out to the public like he's got shit that no one's ever seen before.
Yeah.
And this guy is a representative of some house higher up in America, fucking close. I'm not sure if it's near the White House. It might be intelligence or something. His name's Ralph Norman, and he just has a casual chat with this guy. I think the guy that he's talking to is like a reporter, but I don't think he realises, or if he does, he's being interviewed. But if he doesn't realise, well, he's just let out some shit. Right, let's see if I hope this works. I was going to do it through here, but it just doesn't work. But yeah, sit back and have a listen. It goes for about 4.5 minutes. Tell me if you can hear it.
Visitor yesterday. That you brought him in? What made you reach out or get connected with him?
I had heard, I'd heard about it. Yeah. One is an expert. And that's the other thing, I'm going to bring him back. Everybody, you young people, over here in particular, because we've got a real problem. This isn't playland. And he told us about the facts of the matter, about what's happening. And that too was concerning. He wouldn't give any classified things, as you would expect, but my God. So, I guess we're just going to be unprepared and just take it. This isn't political. This isn't politics. And for you young people, this affects all of us, young and old.
What was the heart of his talk? Was it on SAP's special access programs, or was it
Yeah.
broader? Yeah.
It was brought him. He spoke for 20 minutes. COS, we started at 8. He talked for 20 minutes, and we answered questions.
Yep.
And, where's the funding coming from the government? It's been portrayed by the media as a phrases that are identifying unidentified flying objects, and but it's not. He's been doing this 30-some years. Combat veteran, knows very quality. I'm gonna have him back. In fact, we may open it up to everybody else. Y'all ought to know it. Everybody should.
Public, even then?
Yeah.
Interesting. Because I heard he corroborated what the whistleblower, David Brush,
Absolutely.
testified to this
Yeah.
summer. Interesting.
You got to realize that he has no reason to do this. He has no reason. He's not getting paid. He comes up here free of charge and sending us all the slides. A lot of it is, most of us did not understand, other than it's real. We have to know about it. The American people.
What was the most surprising thing you heard?
The pilots, he brought in 2 pilots that had actually witnessed it, seen it. He showed slides of it. Which was unbelievable.
So it was him and the 2 pilots, Navy pilots?
No, it was four people. Had a scientist, had a combat pilot that had flown missions and reported what he saw and took pictures. So this isn't some figment of our imagination.
You can bring it up to Speaker Johnson. Everything's been stalled.
Yeah,
Since
but I
the
mean,
hearing.
he's got his plate full. Whether he wants to hear about this or not,
He's still getting his training wheels on. That's something else.
well, he's trying. He's doing his best.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah. That's interesting, though, because you were part of the oversight hearing this summer. Because we haven't really heard much.
I was not part of the.
Yeah,
I was on the oversight at one time, but not. I didn't hear any of this summer.
Because they testified in July, and then we haven't really heard much on it. And it's interesting because it's now coming from you and from a different group than the UAP one.
Yes, these are. Our group is.
Yeah.
We're not experts in this field.
Yeah.
But the information is what needs to be out there.
Interesting.
And I'm gonna have him back, and he's got a lot to say. He's real careful not to breach the top secret.
Well, and isn't that where there's overlap with what you just got down this? The
I
whole
don't comment on that.
With the whole conversation about declassification and overclassification. That's where.
Well, the seriousness of it.
Yeah.
This isn't. I mean, that's what's shocking. This isn't playground. It really isn't.
But you think the American people can handle a lot of this information that's currently classified?
Whether they handle it or not, it's up to them.
Yeah.
You can research anything. It's up to the American people to decide. It's freedom of the press, freedom of speech. Let them take. I couldn't decipher everything. Dad, in an hour, you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But it's up to me to decide, get those who can decipher and walk us through it. And he did a hell of a job.
Interesting. As always, appreciate you, sir. You have a good one. Have a good week.
How fucked is that?
It's nuts.
Yeah, that's chilling, isn't it?
It really
Yep.
is.
It's getting like this. It's getting more and more, especially fighter pilots, because they see so much. They cover so much area.
Yeah.
I'm getting more and more of them coming out saying, we've seen what we've seen. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be irrefutable at some point.
Well, back in the day, that none of them liked to report it because they'd go through so much bullshit.
Yeah, you ended up fucking psychiatric testing and then get blacked
Yeah,
out.
that's right. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next few years. I reckon more and more stuff will come out. And this guy, and he teamed up with, what's his fucking name, from Blink-182. I can't think of his fucking name. What's the tall guy? What's his name? Tom...
Will Ferrell. He looks just like Will Ferrell, doesn't he? He looks almost his...
Sorry, yeah, I was like...
No, that's the drummer from bloody...
Oh, sorry, that's Red
You had
Hot
me
Chili
convinced Will Ferrell was in Blink-182 for a second. I'm like, fuck, everything...
what's his name?
Is this
Tom
the Mandela
something.
effect again?
Anyway, the guy from Blink-182, Tom, whatever his name is, he is part of it as well. He's also the reason why they got publicised. He's a big advocate for it as well. But yeah,
It's nuts because those
be
Tic
interesting to
Tac
see what
sightings. There's been a couple of videos come out, and it's funny. One of the videos that you watch, that Bob Lazar said years ago about how these things move because he saw test runs of them. They could operate them, and he said they would always land down on their landing, but when they got up, when they rose, they would rotate, hover, whatever, but they would always fly upwards, belly first.
oh wow,
So, and there's a couple of the videos that you see them hover, rotate, upwards,
yep,
and exactly as he said, just take off,
Yep.
belly first, as if you were driving a car and you raised the whole car up and drove wheels first towards whatever you're heading towards.
Yeah, okay.
That's exactly how it moved. Exactly what he said fucking
all right,
30 years ago.
guys. I think we're gonna have to save another episode just for talking about aliens. I reckon because I reckon we've got a whole episode there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, this has been
good.
a really good episode.
It was really good. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I reckon it's gonna be about an hour long, but yeah, enjoy.
Yeah, stick with us.
Get your teeth around it. All right, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you very soon on the next episode, and
Bloody hell.
catch you next week.
Sleep well
See you guys.
See you guys.
if you can.